Hey guys, VaulSC here. Hope that you're doing good. So we finished up our campaign recently. Everybody got to play 4 games, well, most people did. And one thing I do at the end of every event that you guys may know about is I like to reach out to maybe one of the people that didn't do so well. Obviously, nobody likes losing games. Many people did not lose any games, but there was one person here on the YuJing team. His name is Pripekarius, and unfortunately ended the tournament with 0 tournament points, meaning he lost all of his games, but importantly he still played them and he still showed up and he did get through them all, which is not something I can say about everybody. So what we're going to do is we're going to join him on Discord now and have a chat with him and see if we can do a little bit of coaching for a bit. Alright, where's my Discord? Loading up. Alright buddy, I'm back. How are you? Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
fine.
man. Cool. Well, we'll just go back through it. So, just having a look at the spreadsheet here for the campaign. Can you remember the people that you actually played? I think it was against
I
Persian
played
first.
versus Perzan first.
Yeah, it's a
Then
tough
I
opponent. He's
played
very
versus
experienced.
Johnny. It was fine. Also, it took a very long time for us to play. And
What happened during the game?
actually, I think I made some mistakes with facings, and also I've never played against Saladin, so I've
Right.
seen Saladin, and I thought that I could just make an assassination run with Gensha, and then it turned out he has a repeater, and my
Yeah.
Gensha just got bricked. That
Well,
was
I
surprise
think that's
for
a
me.
learning experience, though. So the really good thing about that is obviously you know next time that that's going to happen to you, so you won't make that mistake. And that's really good.
Yes, I played versus Perzan next game in another league, so
All right.
that time I knew about that repeater. It is Johnny. It was we were playing unmasking, and it was quite fun. But I did he lost his lieutenant in the first turn because he ran with his Joan of Arc into Movang, and he just got her with Flaming Spear. But
Okay.
then I just tried to rush him with my Guilangs, and he killed them during his loss of lieutenant turn, just by spending command tokens, discovering them, and they were in the open.
It's surprising how much you can get done even if you're in loss of lieutenant. I find it's actually not the end of the game, and as you've obviously experienced here, it's possible to win even after losing your lieutenant.
Yes, third game I think was
It's against Dre from the left.
It was with some guy who was playing, I don't remember, Vanilla Aleph, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah, Vanilla
I
Aleph.
can see it there.
And what's the third mission? I don't remember quite well. I think it was something about killing, maybe firefight or...
You were playing a Bleak Assault.
It
was the one with the water effects on the table?
No. Or maybe yes. I don't remember.
Well, that's what the
Yeah,
spreadsheet says.
Yeah, probably it was it. I think it was some of your custom missions.
Yeah, a Bleak Assault too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that I can. I had 2 Guilangs, I had hacked out, and I thought that I can withstand if I give Aleph first turn. And then Achilles just appeared and slaughtered me. And also Andromeda. Andromeda just integrated.
What kind of profiles did you have on your Guilangs for that game?
I had Hacker and I had Mindlayer, because initially my plan was just to sneak on Achilles, spotlight him, and then guided missile.
Yeah.
But then I just...
It can be hard to do that if Achilles manages to reset in response to shooting the missile and then he passes one of his saves. He may pass the reset and you can't hit him anymore, so it makes it difficult. But yeah, having hacking defensively for when he walks to your side of the table can be good. If you set up enough repeaters, then it limits where he can get to. But he's definitely very dangerous.
Yeah, so I picked deployment somehow, and my opponent just kept 2 models in reserve. I hope that it wouldn't be Andromeda and Achilles, but it was Andromeda and Achilles. So he killed like 3 or 4 models with Andromeda, and then I just couldn't do anything with Achilles. Also, Achilles died in close combat to my humble mech engineer in the end of the game.
Really? How did that happen?
That was
that must have been terrible.
That was a spotlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just went into CC and got decharged in the face.
Yeah. That's unlucky, though.
And
Let's just go to that last game.
My last game was on this table. We were playing frontline against JSA.
Yeah.
We won the initiative, so I decided to pick the deployment. I choose this side. The guy I was playing against, he chose the second turn, so I could see both his deployment and had first turn. So I put my Haktao here, and his guys, he had a link team here of Kisotsus and Eureka, I think. Also, he had a Harris of Damarus with Neko, and I just tried to push as fast as I could with Haktao. He got here, he killed some Kisotsu over here, and then I started to fall back, and there was a Pangolin here, but it was Ludwine. So when I moved here, I just got Heavy Flamethrower in the face, and
did you choose to dodge as your next short skill when that happened?
I decided not to dodge. I decided to shoot both Kisotsu Hacker here and Ludwine. So I failed to save versus Flamethrower.
Yeah.
And they both passed. And from then on, I knew that the game was kind of lost because I didn't have. I played very similar list to the one I sent you. So I have only one active turn killer, that's Haktao.
Yeah.
And no backup plan.
I think you've got to be careful with the Haktao. Obviously, if you're taking the NCO with HMG, in future, I mean, coming that close to Pangolin, even if it really is a Pangolin, it's just not where the Haktao wants to be. If you've killed a couple of things from the middle of the table, then you can recamo or move back. I think there are other models in your army that you can send over, even if it's just like a Guangxi or a Liberto, sending units like that just to get a little bit of damage done rather than try to be greedy with the Haktao because he's so vulnerable when he gets out in the midfield.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's some. Sometimes I have some trouble with playing Haktao because I push too far.
Yeah.
And you always have to calculate how many orders you have to get back.
Yeah. Yeah, that takes practice. I mean, at least you understand the principle of it. I mean, I think that you just had a little bit of a bad lucky run with this tournament, and also we gave you a couple of strong opponents to try and beat in the first couple of rounds. But next tournament, I think you'll probably get some wins. But there may still be a few things that we can work on. What do you think were some of the mistakes that you made that you could fix next time?
Some of my mistakes. Well, I think it's about deployment. Something about deployment, probably about the order of deployment, because when I was playing versus Aleph, I usually, when I know that I'm playing versus some guys who have impersonators or who have some very strong infiltrators, I keep Liberto as the last model just to lock them down. But when I was playing with Aleph, I went greedy and I kept. What did I keep? I guess it was.
If you're going second, the model that has the most capability to be defensive is one choice, or just the model that's most vulnerable in your army if you've got a very weak lieutenant. But usually in YuJing, you take a YuJing or something like that, which wouldn't normally be that vulnerable. So taking the Liberto Mindlow as a reserve trooper is okay. Sometimes you can even have a Hundun or a Haktao as your reserve trooper, just so you can make the most of where you're going to surprise them from. So being able to put him exactly in a point where you know that your opponent's going to come down that particular angle, it gives you a chance to spring the best trap you can with that hidden deployment unit.
Do you think that keeping hidden deployment as a reserve a good idea?
Sometimes.
Because experienced opponents, they can see your points and they can calculate, of course.
Yeah.
And know that you have some hidden guy.
It's not really about surprising them about whether you have it or not. It's about where it's positioned. Also, sometimes you may have your hidden deployment model somewhere where you don't even intend to reveal it. You're just keeping it safe. and it causes your opponent to be very afraid and actually play very defensively and not attack you as much as they otherwise would. So that can be a way to work it. We're just going to have a look at your list now. Very similar to the list that I was going to sort of show you today. But already I can see that, me and you sort of have a similar approach to YuJing. And YuJing at the moment, unfortunately, there are some really obviously good units in the faction. So with N4, it's a little bit solved there. But both of us like the Haktau NCO HMG and the Hundun heavy rocket launcher. And just what I was saying there is that if you do take the Hundun, for example, as a reserve trooper, you can find out where your opponent's going to be sending their attack piece from. This is if you're going second, I'm saying. So that's definitely a choice. Liberto in reserve is not bad if you are facing Andromeda and you want to just put a couple of models blocking her that can actually react to slow her down. That's not a bad idea either.
Yeah.
All right, let's have a look through it. Haktau, YuJing, Guilang, Hacker. It's a really solid list. One difference that I find when I'm writing a list for YuJing is that instead of taking the Mech Engineer, I actually prefer the Monstrucker because you save 3 points, and the Monstrucker is just as good, with the willpower. And at least he's got a couple of bits of tech, like the crazy koalas, the drop bears.
But on the other hand, he gives you only irregular order, and I already have 2 irregulars here on Shaolin and Liberto. So the third one makes it a bit. And I see that I put Mech Engineer into the first group just to fuel my Haktau.
Yeah.
Because.
One thing I'll say about that, though, is that because you're not playing a sectorial, your command tokens aren't going to be used for a lot of different things, which is why it can be okay to take a lot of irregular orders. Just like people, that play Hakkaslam take 4 or 5 irregular orders sometimes. You can actually be very efficient with them. I'm just gonna DM you the army code for my list, which is very similar. Just see if that shows up for you.
Check.
I like that you've got a Zenchar. It's you've taken the best Zenchar profile. It's a very solid profile. I tend to prefer the Guilangs just because they're cheaper. Do you normally play the Zenchar in a way that you would be very aggressive with them and just try and walk from the middle of the table into their territory?
I usually just put it somewhere in the midfield, and it's usually used for just capturing objectives, doing some pressing buttons.
Yeah.
I usually don't push it very hard with it.
Yeah.
But it can be used for this.
The thing I love about the Guilang is that he's got a little bit better willpower than the Zenchar, so the button pressing's more reliable. And the MSV1's very useful. He's just not as tough, I guess, as Zenchar. The Zenchar's great for having the short-range SMG as well as the long-range Panzerfaust, so he's definitely a good unit. Just you got to pay some more points from that's all.
But it has 2 wounds, on the other hand.
Yeah, 100%.
2 wounds, less willpower, and no MSV. MSV is really great because you can do that. So many classifieds with Guilangs.
Yeah.
So let your list. Oh, you pick Studian.
Yeah, so there are a few units that I think, there can be an argument made for. One reason why I suggest the Sujian at the moment is just because shotguns are very powerful. The Sujian has some weaknesses, I think. If he goes out in the midfield, he's probably going to be the model that's most likely to get hacked. Also, you can take the Spitfire profile. Some people are going to prefer that, but he's just got such good potential for just arm wrestling your opponent in the center of the table very, very well. And he makes a very good ARO piece with his Panzerfaust also. So, I mean, I don't think he's the very best thing. It was just a suggestion there. I think that your approach there with taking a Zenchar is fine, to be honest. There's no real advantage or disadvantage. The only problem I find with
Sudan is that he doesn't have any modifiers.
Yep.
And modifiers are, a must in N4, I think, right now, because
you can't be surprised. I mean, the thing is, if he's going to be trading with something in the middle of the table, it would otherwise be difficult, like nanopulses and flamethrowers and things like that, and chain colts. He just takes the hit, and he's unlikely to die completely. But when he trades with them, he's firing 3 templates or 3 shots, and with plus 8, plus 6 to hit, he wins a lot of face-to-face rolls in the middle as well. Again, don't like him against hacking, but he's very fast, so he gets into range with a shotgun quite well. Have you actually tried him?
I tried him in a campaign game. We had a narrative campaign.
Oh, yeah.
Here in our community. I tried picking him, and I was playing against Valorheim. He took a lot of hits, and I played exactly that version with a shotgun because I didn't have enough SVC. And I also play Spitfire version. It's okay, but again, it doesn't have any modifiers, so it can die to bad rolls easily.
Yeah.
While Hakta is a bit more protected.
Well, you see that the list has both of them, so if you're up against a model that's going to be very difficult to beat unless you're going in a straight face-to-face roll, the Haktau is the model you choose for that. But once you've cleared out a couple of ARO pieces, if you're going up against things in the middle of the table that are just camouflaged or whatever, YuJing can do a better job of it. I've also even taken the Weibing Yaokong. The couple of reasons for that. He's quite good for removing marker state so that the YuJing can then trade with him with a shotgun, but also because if he goes into the mid-table to press buttons, the lieutenant is actually a hacker as well, so just takes advantage of that hacking area. Again, I don't think this is necessarily the optimal way of playing YuJing, but I just wanted to offer some strong options there in case you're wanting to try something else. I think your list is strong, though. I'm just looking back at your list. I don't really see anything wrong with it. Do you try out the Dao phase?
No, I don't like them.
What do you think of them?
Well, I haven't tried them out. That's maybe I would like them, but I think they are overcosted.
Okay.
For what they do, because they don't have hidden deployment. They only mimetism -3. They have worse armor, worse ballistic skill. Everything is worse than Haktau. They don't have NCO option. So why would you pick them over Haktau?
I think for some people it depends on the map a little bit. In some of the campaigns I run, you can see the map in advance. So if there's a really good midfield building to deploy on with the Spitfire, that can make them a bit better than Haktau. But I do agree with you. The Haktau is better in most situations.
One of the problems I faced actually while playing that I couldn't find a good fire lane for my Haktau.
Yeah.
This map is okay. It's very open, and here I didn't had this kind of problems. But for example, the first map I was playing on what was it? Neural net. It was very, very, very cramped to my mind.
Well, I wanted people to have to solve that problem. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's just go to the next stage of this, and let's just do a training run here. So you can see I've deployed an OSS list. This is just a list that I played last month, and we're going to imagine now that you're playing a game against OSS, and OSS has won the roll and opted to go first. And you have chosen the other table side, and this OSS player has to deploy first. So you can see there's a link team here with a Dakini sniper and HMG. Everything's prone. There's a CSU at the back, and then the other Dakini's in the link. And then over here you've got the lieutenant kind of protected at the back here with the flash bot, and the missile launcher is also part of the link team. But everything's prone. And then further out you've got the HVT. And you've got the post-human. So the post-human proxy 5 is there. We know that this is going to the proxy Mark II hacker over here, so you can know that in advance. And on this other middle side of the battle table, we've got the engineer there. And the Evo hacker, which is going to use Evo to probably put assisted fire on the HMG or the sniper on this side. Back there's another net rod, and the extreme left-hand side there's a Apsara. The Apsara is going to give the sniper rifle plus 2 ballistic skill back here. And also there's a camo marker, which is most likely going to be Dart or a Naga, something like that. It's -3.
Mm-hmm.
So...
can I see HRL proxy? there is no
No HRL proxy. Yep. So the OSS player is going to go first. I've got two models out here, but you're not really, as a player, you don't really know this, but there's a Garuda waiting to come on and a Dazyu, which will be a reserve trooper. But we're going to pretend that we don't know that information yet. So in the bag here, I'm just going to take out the list that I just wrote here, and we'll just have a practice run. And we're just going to say that it's your turn to deploy. So, in this situation, do you have a feeling about which model you would prefer to have as the reserve trooper?
Again, well, playing versus OSS, I would expect Andromeda, so I would keep Liberto as usual.
Yeah, okay. So we'll base this off the assumption that you expect Andromeda. So we'll say the Liberto can be the reserve, but this is mine. And the Longyars can have their mines. I've put the yellow base ones in group 2. So, where would you want your troops to be?
Okay, let me think quickly. So everyone except Sniper is prone. HMG is prone. Everyone is prone. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't matter because they have first turn, so they will stand up and just kill.
That's the main idea here. So this long fire lane through here, if you leave something protecting it, chances are they're going to be able to move up and kill that. But again, we're expecting Andromeda, so I guess you'd want to defend against that.
I think I'd probably put my Hakta somewhere on top because in hidden deployment state, of course.
Yep.
And prone. So when the game starts. When my turn starts, he can just move here on this breach and shoot everything.
Yeah.
Because you can get quite good lines of sight here, unless enemy hides behind this shield. Let me think.
Well, let's have a talk about it. You know where I would put the Hack Tower? I would put him hidden deployment, and I'd actually choose this location right here for him. The reason why is that he's still not far away from moving through there if he wants to, but he can get a line of sight down to this part of the battlefield there, just in case something moves up there, and he can see in front of your deployment zone if he wants to there. But because of this bridge, they can't see him with the Dakinis, so it gives him a fair bit of coverage as he comes out of hidden deployment. But then when it is your turn, moving up through there actually still is fine. You'd have enough movement to do it.
Yes, that's probably a great option because I thought putting him very, very passively, and this one offers more active approach, I think, because
having high
if
ground's
something
good though.
approaches here, you can arrow at it.
Another great thing is he could use the elevator to get to ground level. So I think your idea of putting him at the top is a good idea. Cool. What else should we put down?
What else I can put down? So Weibin. Weibin is what mission are we playing here?
Frontline.
Just frontline. Okay. So it's a lot of classifieds. Weibin. I don't want to put him. Do I want him to feel just my order pool? I'd probably put him somewhere like this, and probably in a prone state, just so he can be safe.
Yeah,
because I can't see anything coming approaching from this side, except this camo, and also I can just discover this camo with Weibin.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think that's great because on this side, if you use a sensor on him, you know it's going to be a proxy hacker. So coming into range of him does mean you might get hacked. Having said that, if you do start him out there, you can probably move up and then reveal him. If he does hack you, you could hack him through your own repeater. I haven't put any killer hackers in this list though, so that might not be the best. But the other strategy there is just to use a Guangxi to move up and actually reveal this guy. That might be a better way to go.
Oh, yeah.
So I think your deployment there is pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. So probably I need to deploy my lieutenant in some best place
Somewhere safe?
possible. Somewhere safe. It could be either on top, like, but that's a bit too close. Oh, something like this. Where is it? Proxy with SMG. It's for movement. Also, I can just hide him here behind the container next to Waybean.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot for him. Another spot that I thought of for him is possibly this. And
Yes.
if he goes prone there, he still has this area to use for hacking. But if the enemy's going to be trying to chase him, like if Andromeda deploys here and comes down here, you do even have the possibility of revealing the hack tower if you wanted to. It probably is not a good idea to reveal the hack tower because Andromeda would just kill him. But having him here does mean that other things that might come after him later might be worth it. Like if they come through with just a normal trooper like a Naga and come around here, at least you've got the hack tower defending, and he's on the top level. So committing Andromeda to come through the top means that, for example, if Andromeda deploys here and goes after your lieutenant specifically, there's not many other models that she can kill because once she's around here, she's at the top level and it's hard for her to get down again. So that's what I would have thought. Over here is fine though. Anywhere at the back.
Here I can put, for example, Quanshi just to guard my lieutenant.
Yeah,
that's what I usually do.
I think that's fine, actually.
Probably like this.
Just have him facing this way though, because you want to be able to prepare for an enemy coming around through either side of that wall.
Yeah, probably like this. Because there is no deployment zone parachutist in OSS, so I don't have to have anyone looking at the back. Also, if Garuda comes, I wouldn't like to hack her. There's only one Gulag in your list, right? And it's a foe.
Yeah, so the Wayping's in a good spot there against the Garuda as well, because the Garuda doesn't really want to appear there, otherwise it gets hacked. And with your lieutenant back here, you can reveal it quite safely and not really be killed by anything that OSS has.
Not so sure about Lunya's position. I guess it should be put somewhere in forward deployment, but where?
Sometimes I think it can be a mistake to use the ability just for the sake of it. Like, even though he can go further up, he's designed to have a long-range gun. But the advantage is that you can deploy the mine with the forward deployment up to 16. You can deploy back about 8 inches back.
Yeah, I learned that.
And you also don't want to get shot by that Dakini team. So it's better to probably find some shorter angles.
They are most likely to outshoot me. Although it will cost them some orders. It will definitely cost them some orders.
Yep.
No way I can put my Lunya in such a way that I will clip with Flaming Spear. So probably I can put one somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
If I go here, if I put one Lunya over here, probably I get a long range
that sniper
shot
is going to
here.
be a problem.
And also sniper will have to stand up, move here. I declare a discover. And then spend another order just to shoot this Lunya. And it also blocks approach from the middle. Maybe okay. And what's your idea of putting this Lunya?
I think I like this position, and you have to be very careful about it exactly. But if I use the gizmo kit, my idea is that because you've got a very sneaky angle through there, and to get to him, they've got to reveal. But you've also got a very sneaky angle through there, and if this is revealed for some reason, it has trouble coming through the side. And there are a lot of different angles that Andromeda can come through where you can come through this guy. But he's also got this angle along here, through there. So in this position, it's very hard for the Dakinis to go after him. But he's covering a lot of different annoying angles. And then what you do is you take the mine and you put it out somewhere like that.
Yeah.
Because it covers the door to this building, covers these long spots through here. I think the mine comes a little bit further this way.
If this camo moves close enough, it will just get blown. And the second Dakini, Lunya, it can go. Not sure if I want him here. I think it's not such a good spot. If I deploy him on top, no, he's too low, too small. Yeah, I think, well, this position, something like this. No, this one is not as good because, yeah.
Can be tough.
No, that's no way. Probably put him on some long range.
I think the first place you had for him is not bad. Like, if it's there, then the problem for the enemy is that if Naga or Dart here stands up, you've got something covering that. Regardless of whether it is Dart or Naga, they don't really want to risk it against the long yard because I mean, the long yard doesn't really cost you very much. And the Dakinis aren't really on the side of the table, so you've got an angle to this spot here. And if I'm very carefully checking, it even can see the top of this window here. So you've actually got something we can see into the enemy's room here, and you don't know what the reserve trooper is. It might be something that can actually walk along this. So having him there to watch that's really nice.
Also, I put it here, and I can also probably just prevent anything coming from the side of the map. By putting a mine. Also, this camo will have to walk here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good spot for it because with frontline, if they don't bother to shoot the mine for the whole game, it makes it more difficult for them to walk this area where they may want to score in your zone because there's this strip of the table right here where they get a lot of points for being in your part of the table, and the mine helps to prevent that. So it's not a bad idea. I think that's looking pretty good.
Okay, well, Hundun, I think it's pretty... maybe not that evident. Can I... No, I can't get a shot at your Dakinis. So probably he's just... can be deployed on top of the roof.
Yep.
But he can only see one place here. That's... on the other hand, it can be deployed behind the car, so he can see two approaches. One on the middle, and no, he can't see through the truck. If I put him over here, he gets...
What kind of target do you most plan to reveal the Hundunen to shoot?
Probably Link Team.
Yeah.
Or Andromeda, but I can't see it on the table.
Yeah.
So probably Link Team, just to make them spend their shots. I don't remember. Do they have MSVs?
No.
Any of? Well, they have mimetism. That's...
Yeah, they can be a bit hard to hit. The trick with OSS though is that you might be able to wait for them to move past in such a way that the CSU comes in line of sight, and the CSU won't have mimetism. So if you specifically target him, you won't have the penalty, but you'll still clip the Dakinis. So with that in mind, one place I like for him is actually over here. And the thing about this is that your plan would be to be very patient, and the OSS player, apart from Andromeda, is not really going to have many things in their list which can comfortably come onto your side of the table because you're so heavily defended. And if you come over here, the plan is to wait to turn 2 or even turn 3 for the Dakinis to move out, because your opponent's going first, so he's going to have to be the one moving into the table. And if for some reason the Dakinis move around to like here, to be in the middle of the table, or here, you're waiting for that final turn 3, you shoot, they have to shoot back, or they have to deal with them, they don't have enough orders, and that's where he can be very powerful. The disadvantage is that you're playing the whole game until then without his help. But if you're willing to play a very patient and restrained game, that can be such a strong place with that long line, or that long line, and that effectively having to avoid it for ages.
I can see this wall, like I see along this line.
Don't forget too that given how many points he costs, in the final turn of the game, you might just want to not reveal him and move him up to here as a marker if you're in a really close game situation and you want to get the points without even shooting anything. It's not the most fun way to play, but that can be a winning move sometimes when it's really about just how much you have left.
Yeah, I think, well, usually I pick either Hundun or my Major Luna for arrows, but I think in general, if you don't know who I'm playing against, the Hundun is better. Because he's
yeah, I remember seeing that game between Panda Beast Mode and Sifa in the IGL finals, and it was really cool that Panda Beast Mode won that game with Major Luna because he was expecting the Polaris Bear Pods, and because Major Luna has the viral sniper, it made that matchup so much easier. So I think there's actually a strong argument for taking Luna instead of the Hundun a lot of times. Just for that reason.
But Hundun is better versus Sectorials, where he can just clip the whole link.
Yeah.
And if you know your opponent, you can choose the one you like. Okay, so keeping deployment. I want this guy hidden.
Yeah.
Probably somewhere over here because he won't be doing anything for the.
I love that spot for him because he can hide there for the whole game, but then later in the game, if you're really having trouble moving out to the frontline area, he can put the smoke in the middle.
Yes, he can try it. But is it BS12? BS11. Not
I mean, you don't want to have to try and rely on that, but if needed, he may as well be in a good position. Just be careful, of course, with his facing. And then you can see the back line, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
And then Monstracker without Yaozao, right? Just a normal one. Yeah, no Yaozao. So probably I can repair only one guy. Only one. So probably SMG, chain rifle, drop burst. I can put him somewhere like this, so he can fix this Lunya if it gets broken. Also, I can start throwing drop burst to make it more difficult to approach here.
Definitely. What about this spot right here? Because then you'd be in range to repair the Longya, but with his irregular order, if he had nothing to do, he could also just fire the Gizmo Kit along the deployment zone here to this Longya there. So you at least have an outside chance of repairing him from that long range. And by standing him there, yep, I think there's a good spot. I mean, he can move 2 inches to that spot, throw the drop bear down there, and then come back. So I think that's a really nice spot for him. Good angles with the chain rifle too, or chain colt, whatever he's got. He even has climbing plus, so walking over that wall is very easy for him.
Yeah. Another Quan, she probably can be just dropped here to watch the angles. The corners, I mean.
Yeah, this is an excellent place for a Guangxi. It watches so much of the deployment zone, and it's a great angle for moving out with Impetuous because the enemy doesn't really have any arrows long range down here.
I'm not sure if I want to put him so
Maybe here is even better because
Yeah, because enemy comes across the corner, it either it's chain rifle or and it also can hit explosion.
100%. Yeah, maybe if you face
Get
him like
unlucky.
that. I'll just widget him. Yeah, right about there, I think. Because then you've got that little side angle through there. But you don't want him to see too much, otherwise they can shoot him from beyond his range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else do we have? Another two Quanches. Well, Quanches are just for guarding corners. Let me think quickly. I can put one on top probably, just in case something's. No, it will just get shot by Dakinis. Probably I still can do this. Just prone state.
If you want to, you could try him inside this building, like just in front of the elevator.
Oh yeah,
there's one spot.
Building.
You could put him prone behind this box, or even just right behind that wall there, so he's out in the open through this side. All of those are pretty good opportunities, but you've got still another one to deploy, so you might be able to take a couple of those spots.
And turn it in such a way that it's...
Yeah, just make sure that you can't be shot through that long line, otherwise the Garuda will appear and then just shoot you from that angle.
Oh, there is an open.
Yeah.
Probably just in front of the elevator is the best spot.
Yeah, I like it. And that way he can move up levels and attack something from here if he needed to. That's really good.
Another Quanch. It can be put somewhere over here, probably. Or it can be just put here. I think that's the right spot, because if something walks along this line, something from reserve, what do OSS have? Well, for example, if they deploy Dart, or I can know already that the Dart is here.
Yeah.
It can be Dart. I don't remember actually what camos OSS have.
It would be Naga or Dart.
Well, they can have probably another camo. So probably I can put one Quanch just to prevent them running into my deployment zone through this and shooting me through this spot.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I guess if Dart was going to be the reserve trooper and walk along the wall and try and shoot your lieutenant from this position, it helps to have the Quangxi. I think the hack tower is probably enough to stop her from doing that. So it's not bad.
Hack tower will nano-pulse her, and she will just throw EM grenades at him. And he will
what about just putting him right out here in the open? Just like giving him up.
State?
If you put him to the side, then you avoid that angle. Nah, you don't. Okay, I don't think that works. Then I think where you've put him is okay. I also kind of like underneath the elevator there, like that exact spot there. But where you've got him's alright.
It's another option. Yeah, seems good. I think both of these are fine.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
This one just prevents people approaching from here.
Yeah.
Well, not prevents, but makes it a little bit more difficult. And I have what? Guilang and Sudan. Sudan is very fast and it has Kalamin Plus, so I want to play probably around this structure. Or I can play somewhere where it's very cramped and I can approach the link team and threaten them with just templates. When they start moving, they will probably take some position, some defensive position.
One thing I like about the Sujan in this particular mission is that he's so many points to go in the zone at the end of the game, and he's very fast to get there. So the best strategy with him might even just be to keep him completely back and just completely safe until...
can be put either in the... here, just totally safe with nothing.
Well, he's so fast,
there is...
And climbing plus on top of this building as well if you really wanted to. But coming all the way around, just so easy for him to get there. I'd even put him like here.
Yeah.
The other thing about him, though, is that he could also use his Panzerfaust as an ARO. You just got to be careful about where that arrow is going to come from. So he needs a place to retreat back to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to guts myself. My idea was if I put him here, he starts moving behind this billboard. So then I can move over here,
Yep.
here, and I get into very close range with the Dakini fight team, and they can't fight that effectively with me. But I need to deal with that TO camo token, of course.
I think that TO camo is a real big threat to the Sujian, actually, so deploying him in opposite that maybe is not the best idea.
Yeah, probably if I would have swapped my Weibin to this position then. Just so I can roll towards this. Can I actually? I'm not sure.
I've got an idea for you to consider.
There would be something covering this ray.
I think the Sujian can swap with the Guangxi, and this one can come down here. And the reason why I suggest this is that if you stand him here and he's standing up, he's actually got a Panzerfaust line along this side of the battlefield, which is hilarious. And if he does get hit, he can just drop prone, and he starts standing up. But when it's your turn, you can move straight through the middle of the table into the zone later on. And if there's Dakinis there, you can just go prone and move 4-2 through along there, or 4-1, I should say. So that could be kind of fun. He's even got the elevator to get down and use his shotgun later. Just depends on how conservative you want to be. The other position where I like him is like here. Again, I know you've got the guy there, but just standing there and covering that long side along there, and then along here with the through the middle with the Panzerfaust, and then when it does come to the important turn 2, turn 3, you could actually run him over here, and he could actually end up in the game in their territory, where he puts all of his points like in that part of the table where you get most points from them. So that's actually kind of a crazy spot for him to be.
Yeah, makes sense. But on the other hand, if I put him here, that's a bit more distributed threats.
Yeah.
I mean that I have Haktao on this flank and I have Sujani on this flank.
Yeah.
That's another option. And I have Guilang. Let me see where I can put him. I think I will just put him somewhere in the middle.
I think I gave him the Fort Observer profile, didn't I?
Yes, yes. But he also has mines, so probably... Do I want him to just drop here?
So the OSS guy will have the first turn. I wouldn't put him too close to this, because that Kamamaka will have a shotgun, I think. And if they can find a way to just attack the Guilang, then the Guilang, you lose them for nothing. One way to do it is to put him somewhere up here, because that way he will start with his points in your territory. The combi rifle will have range to a lot of things in the midfield, and that MSV will be quite useful against the Dakinis if you have to try and shoot at them. You may even be able to sort of deploy him around about here, so that if he stands up, this big cube is blocking his line of sight to the link team where it is right now. If the link team moves out, you can shoot at them with the Hundun, but if they don't move out, then you're not going to get attacked back with your Guilang when you're covering the side of the table if they set up camp there. We don't know what their reserve troopers are. We're sort of partly expecting Andromeda. You probably wouldn't want to have it standing up there, but if he's going prone and Andromeda tries to come through there, you've at least got a combi rifle to try and shoot at it with.
I can also deploy probably here, next to the elevator and in prone state.
I also kind of like this spot too, right there, because he's next to the elevator, so he can go downstairs. But from there, if he's just poking out just a little bit, he can see along that. And again, if you're worried about Andromeda, like literally Andromeda could deploy here if she wanted. You at least have something that can shoot at her as she's moving through the balcony to try and pick things off. I don't think she would actually do that because you've got too many long-range items there, but it really just minimizes the spots where they can put her. And it means that he's in a good position to move into the middle of the table from the top, or hold down this part of the territory if you don't move him. I quite like that spot. It's a shame he's not a hacker, actually.
Yeah, it kind of defends my deployment in this position. That's I think one of the best spots you can put him. Okay.
Not bad. Let's pretend that it's the OSS player. So the OSS player is going to deploy a hidden deployment model. I don't actually know what my game plan would be in this real scenario. It'd probably be something pretty conservative. Hacker, combi rifle. So in a game like this, maybe I'd be attacking with this camo marker, and I'd put the DASU somewhere just really really passive. I think towards the middle of the table, like I might put it like there. But regardless of whether I put it, let's just pretend that the OSS player has just laid down something in hidden deployment and you don't know where it is. Where would you put the Liberto?
Liberto has a +8 for deployment. I can't see any immediate threat that I can block with Liberto. So, well. I know that you can't rush past this flank. You don't. Well, except this camo. But I also have Quanshi, I have mine, I have Lunya here, Monstrucker.
Yeah.
I think I'd like to put him somewhere like this. 3.
It's one of the strengths of YuJing is that they're just so defensive. But the weakness is having something which is very efficient to attack with. My thought with the Liberto is to actually put him over here. I'll show you where I mean. Like right there, and have the mine behind the car. So the reason why I like this idea is that they can see the mine and discover it, and then after it is revealed, it's so small that the car gives it cover, so it can't be removed. And they can't really push through this territory very easily. But the Liberto is in a position where later in the game you can actually spin your orders to attack with him. So if he's moving out through here and your opponent has got troops in the midfield, he's the one you're spinning all the orders on to attack, because he's just so expendable, and a shotgun is going to be very useful against the Dakinis, which are not good at dodging. And he's also very good at revealing an enemy camo marker in the middle of the table, like the DASU with the intuitive attack. What do you think of this spot?
It's well, yeah, it just leaves me without host, because currently there's only Hundun at that place.
Yeah.
Who is in a hidden deployment? Yeah, and it also gives me another attack direction that I can use. So the enemy will have to choose where to defend. Because I have Sudan, I have Haktao here, and I have also Liberto.
Yeah, this is extremely strong, and I think looking at this deployment, if you're up against that... Oh, hang on, I've got a cramp in my leg. If you are against this particular OSS player, then you're going to have an advantage. Like, this is a game that you're more likely to win if you play correctly, because they can't do much damage to you, and their troops are very expensive. Even if there was Andromeda, I mean, I can't really think of anywhere Andromeda would really want to deploy where she gets a lot of value. There's nowhere that she can really move to and kill your lieutenant effectively, because everything she's trying to hit with guard is going to be able to hit back with a template, or there's something else revealing like the Hundun. So you've done really, really well. And for this reason, I think that in a lot of missions, if you're playing vanilla YuJing, you should try and pick deployment rather than picking first turn, because if your opponent goes first turn, then if you set up in such a way, you're going to be very well defended and they can't get much value. And then, of course, in the later part of the game, you're going to have an advantage when it comes to moving on to the scenario and actually winning the objectives.
Yeah, that depends on the mission, of course.
Yeah. But most missions, I think, picking deployment would be a really good choice with this kind of list. Once you start taking things that are very, very aggressive, and I can't think of too many of them in YuJing, that's when you'd change that. But a list like this defends really, really well. And I love the fact that Sujian has both the shotgun and the Panzerfaust. He's a really, really good piece. Maybe we should be thinking about having the Monstrucker closer to the Sujian, but again, you're right. I think there should be a Yao Zhao on this list, because if the Monstrucker did have a Yao Zhao next to the Sujian, then the Monstrucker can defend both the Longya and the Sujian there. So maybe this list would be better if there were some points saved with one of the troopers. Like maybe the Weibing, that can turn into something cheaper to afford the Yao Zhao.
Yeah. Also, I noticed you don't play Shaolin here.
Yeah, Shaolin can be very good with the smokes. You don't always need the smokes. You've even got the Celestial Guard 4 smokes, but I think you're right. If you wanted to, reduce the amount of irregular you have, drop the Wei Bing, and then have the Yao Zhao, that's fine. And again, your list is very good that you have with the Zhensha. I think that if you get really experienced with this game and you get very skilled with using the Sujian, you're going to find a lot of situations where you really get some big advantages from the things that you can achieve with them. But for now, Zhensha is also very good.
Great, but he needs some practice. Some practice to be used correctly. I played him in some games where I knew my opponents. I even played him versus Johnny, but there I just got critted with a missile from some knight.
Not much you can do about that when they get that lucky.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I didn't have an engineer, I guess, to repair. So I guess you have to bring engineer every time you get Sujian.
Engineer is very important, I think, for this faction. Do you have any questions about competitive Infinity or strategy or anything before we finish up?
No, I don't have any.
Oh, good.
I think...
Do you think you'll play some more in our campaigns and leagues?
Yeah, I will definitely play them.
Nice.
Yeah.
So next time we do a campaign next year, I'm going to tell the Russian guys that if they want to have a big group of players in the same team, it'd be better if they split up and have half of them in one team, half in the other team. And if they're willing to do that, I think the campaign will be fairer. But maybe we can get you in on their team as well if you like the faction they pick. That'll be really good.
Yeah. I tried to apply for military orders because I learned quite late of your campaign, and I guess at that time the team was already full.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem. We can't have everybody playing the same team; just it doesn't result in a fair campaign. But if half of them go military orders and half of them go Morats or something like that, then you'd have an opportunity to try that faction out and be playing with your friends, which would be really cool.
Yeah, would be cool.
All right, dude. Well, thanks for coming along for the coaching. Hope you got a little bit out of it, and we should have a game sometime.
Yeah. Have a nice day.
Thanks, man. Catch you later.